Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It has become commonplace in Detroit. Tigers played another one-run game Friday night, and they picked up another win thanks to their never-say-die attitude. Gorgeous Saturday afternoon here in Detroit. It does not get any better than this. We get a chance to watch baseball in the best sports city in America with a team that's starting to play really good baseball. Hi, everyone. Alongside two-time World Series champion Kirk Gibson, I'm Matt Shepard. That never-say-die attitude I referenced stems from Ron Gardenhire. He's a guy who preaches to his team, encourages his team to stay aggressive. How do we notice that, and why do you think it's working for this team?
Well, it's something new, number one, but if you watched the game last night, it was 4-2. They get shut down by the original pitcher of the White Sox. Just hanging in there, but during the game, totally aggressive. Right here, Iglesias gets thrown out at second. You might say, well, this isn't a very good play. You're down by 2, but that's not the philosophy. It's keep going. They ran the bases. Nick ran the bases. Leonis Martin ran the bases. Right here, he's going to score. This play was reviewed, ruled safe. And you see Castellanos going behind there. So Gardy's philosophy, remain on attack. He realizes that the sabermetricians say, you're giving away outs, you're giving away runs. But you know what? If you're down 4-2 and you're not on the attack, you become complacent. You wait for the 3-run home run. And this club is not a club that hits 3-run home runs, and it's working very well for the Tigers so far this year.
Tigers, one of the better teams in the American League at taking that extra base. Nick Castellanos, we've talked a lot about his hitting, and for good reason. But Gibby, he's starting to become more of a complete player. How are we noticing that?
Well, last night, again, if you watch the game, Nick Castellanos, the best game that he's played in all aspects of the game. Started off with 3 hits. Well, everybody's expecting that. He's had how many multiple hit games? And again, if you're watching him out of the box, he's going out of the box very, very quickly, stealing all over. There he moves up to third base. Now he's making the read on the ground ball by Victor Martinez, and they pick up the run here. But just you see these guys base running. See, he reads it, it's going home onto third base, and then he scores, and that's the go-ahead run. So overall, it's been great. Then now, how about this last night? Look at the defense. He stops. He's in perfect position to make the throw. And guess what? He makes a bullet throw, cuts down the runner at second base. And then here he goes over here to the rail, getting familiar. Spills a beer, feels guilty. How about a high five? Can we call it even? And he was the moderator yesterday at the luncheon. Look at him handing out the love at Comerica Park yesterday. And we're all looking for it to happen again today. Another good opportunity for the Tigers to have a victory.
That fan didn't mind. He said, did you make the catch? Castellanos says, yeah. He says, then give me the high five, baby. Nick Castellanos, one of the better stories for the Tigers this year. Another really good story has been today's starting pitcher, Francisco Liriano. He takes the bump, and when we come back, John Keating rejoins us from the Coliseum studio to give you Liriano's impressive numbers. Tigers baseball right around the corner here on Fox Sports Detroit.
your expectations of what a bank can be, come to Comerica. And by Ram Trucks, built to serve. We continue on Al Kaline Bobblehead Day as we celebrate number 6. In his last start, last Sunday in Seattle, Francisco Liriano flirted with a no-hitter. Flirting is fun, but the no-no was broken up in the 7th inning. Ultimately, Liriano pitched 8 scoreless innings against the Mariners, and he comes back against the White Sox today. He did not face them that first series of the year on the south side of Chicago. In fact, the last time he faced the White Sox, he was a reliever for the Houston Astros, and late last season he pitched a perfect inning of relief in an Astros win. So it's Liriano for the Tigers, Hector Santiago for the White Sox in the middle game of a 3-game set as the Tigers look for their 3rd win in a row. Right back to Shep and Gibby. First pitch right around the corner.
Late. Tigers in search of their 6th consecutive win over Chicago. Francisco Liriano facing Tim Anderson to start things off, and starts him with a first pitch strike and a quick work for Liriano. Now 0-2. Anderson a pain in the tail last night. You see his numbers at the bottom, including his 8th homer of the year. Tied for the team lead. Grounder to short. Smooth. Today's Tigers starting pitcher, Francisco Liriano, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Kirk Gibson, his 10th start of the season for the Tigers.
That's right, 8 scoreless innings with 1 hit allowed in his last start. Fastball, sliders, pretty much what he features. He'll also go with the changeup. Enters today's game ranked 6th in the American League with a 194 opponent's batting average.
Who took a no-hitter into the 7th last time out against Seattle. Yolmer Sanchez, the third baseman for Chicago, who leads the league in triples. Nothing but strikes from Liriano so far. First pitch strikes, so important.
Yeah, it's a good sign, and especially you don't want to go deep in the counts if you don't have to. Got that nice ground ball. He's been getting more outs on ground balls than normal.
3 pitches and his first strikeout of the afternoon. Here's the White Sox batting order presented to you by Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Abreu ready to stand in. His career against Detroit, he's batting .334. Jose Rondon at the DH spot, just his third start as the designated hitter. He was a late substitution for Matt Davidson, who's got a bad back. And Yoan Moncada last night had a double to start the game and scored, but after that Detroit shut him down. .13th career start for Liriano against the White Sox. 6-4 in his career against Chicago. 2-0 to Abreu.
Liriano, pretty good rhythm coming out so far today. 8 pitches, 6 of them strikes.
Can rhythms be carried over from a starting pitcher from his last start? Or because of the days in between, it's too tough?
You hope it does. You had a great outing. Obviously, he's got a good feel about it. But his slider in his last start allowed no hits with it. Got 16 outs, so that was a good pitch. You're going to see if he's going to want to see if that's working again.
3-0 to Abreu. Now 3-1. You saw the numbers on Abreu from last night in a 2-for-5 performance, but the key at bat was in the 9th, right? When he smacked into a 6-4-3 double play.
Made the pitch. Greeny did. And got him.
Huge.
Kept it away. They're trying to keep it away again today.
Walked him.
Oakland University brings you the Tigers starting defense. Got a newbie out there in left field, Victor Reyes. Jacoby's in center. Nicholas in right again. Candy and Hicks on the corners. Nico Goodrum again at second base, and Iglesias at shortstop. James McCann's behind the dish again. It's been a while since Victor's got some playing time out there, Shep. I know we talked to Gardy quite a bit about it. He wants to get him more into the rotation. He said, my fault, actually. So today is probably feeling a little strange out there right now, but that sun's beating off those nice whites and the Tiger D, and he's ready to contribute.
Well, I talked to Reyes a long time before the game, asked him about the comfort level, and because of how difficult that can be in between games played. Castellanos, good beat on that fly ball from Rondon. Tigers get their first licks when we come back. game with 6 straight strikes, finished 9 strikes in his first 13 pitches in that first inning, and now his offense takes dead aim at Hector Santiago. This will be the 13th time a Tigers lineup faces a lefty this year. Jacoby Jones 0 for 6 against Chicago this year. John Hicks in May is batting .317. James McCann is hit safely in 23 of his last 31 games. That's the Tigers batting order, presented to you by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Jones in the leadoff spot after going 0 for 3 last night, and is quickly in an 0-2 hole. I asked him before the game, Gibby, is there a different approach as a leadoff guy? He said absolutely not. It's going to stay. It's going to stay the same. Whether I'm hitting second, bottom of the order, top of the order, it remains the same.
Well, I think to him that, I mean, he's explaining it the way he goes up to the dish. When I was a leadoff hitter, especially the first time up, I tried to see as many pitches as I can. But you're really only the leadoff hitter for the first AB.
Facet foul. He did lead off earlier this year. He said in Seattle, he said, I did swing at a changeup, but I was looking for that changeup. Ended up popping it up. But overall, if he gets a certain pitch, sure, he'll take dead aim at it. 1-2 pitch. Scalded to third. Short hop nicely by Sanchez. High throw, and Abreu makes the play. Today's White Sox starting pitcher, Hector Santiago, presented by MGM Grand Detroit, and he has struggled mightily. Gibby, in his last 11 starts, he's 0-8 with an ERA over 8.5.
Yeah, 30 years old, 14th appearance, 5th start of the season. Kind of a high fastball, 91 to 92 miles an hour. Changeup is usually his best pitch. However, he has struggled throwing the changeup this year. It's probably part of the numbers that you were reciting there. Curveball and a slider.
13 career starts against Detroit. 3 and 6 in those starts. Castellanos takes a first pitch strike. What a tear Nick Castellanos has been on. Or maybe that's not even fair. He's been just consistent all season long. The average is 3rd best in the American League. His 62 hits are 5th most, and his 14 doubles are 10th most.
Change up right there. Something off speed. I was just watching, wasn't watching the monitor. But they're going to try and pound Nick inside and then change him up.
Almost got away.
Really let that one go.
Is that a case of overthrowing? There's the splits for Hector Santiago, which is a little odd that lefties are hitting him better, even though far fewer at bats.
Yeah, well, you'd ask yourself as a manager, well, I got to get some lefties in there. Well, we don't have any lefties. Number one, Nick. Looks like a ground ball across the diamond. Oh,
safe.
Came off the bag.
Yeah, Abreu pulled off the bag. Tim Anderson with a high throw.
Even to those, take a look right here. Anderson just kind of lays back on it. The ball comes out hot and high. They're not going to take a look at this, huh? You get back those lefty-righty splits, so you'd put as many lefties as you can. Tigers don't really have any more to put in there. But the other thing is the slugging. More home runs against right-handers than lefties. So there you have it. Nick on an air here in the first.
6th error of the year for Tim Anderson. Jamer Candelario stands in. Good to see him back in the line. Pounds one to left. See ya.
Oh boy. That's the way to make the air hurt. Jamer Candelaria just jumped that first 89-mile-an-hour fastball I saw into the left center field seats. Tigers up 2-0. A little different than last night already.
Team leading 6th homer of the year. That one traveled 427 feet. Victor Martinez hops all over a high fastball. This was a no-doubter, Gibby.
Yeah, you knew it right off the bat. They're trying to get in on him, leave it out over the plate. And I guess his wrist is okay. There you see the four-seamer. He knew it right out of the gate. As I said yesterday, remember Mike Fiers struggling to find his location and his rhythm. Liriano comes out, sets the stage, and Shamer seals the deal here in the first for the Tigers.
Over shifted there. Moncada makes the play. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the White Sox defense. Left field, Trace Thompson, Adam Engel in center, Daniel Palco in right. Tim Anderson, Juan Mocana up the middle, Yomer Sanchez at third, and Jose Abreu at first. Alfredo Gonzalez making his major league debut, catching for the White Sox.
Yeah, last year in Double-A threw out 41% of the runners. 2 years ago, 34% in Triple-A. Goodrum with a heavy swing, 0-1.
You're a catcher. You come up and you give up 2 in the first. It's got to affect your mentality a little bit. Did I put down the wrong finger?
Yeah, we always think it affects the pitcher, but catchers have told us for years now, look, they take it just as personally.
They do.
Chicago has a definitive void at that position. This one scalded to right center. Is that going to find a gap? It is. Up against the wall. Goodrum with good speed. Pounds the bag at second, and he will cruise into third with a stand-up 2-out triple.
Well, this ball is really taken off. The heat is making the ball fly, and that's good convective activity. He's on his way. He's got a nice long stride. Good turn there at the inside foot. Got on top of second base and into third easily. Got some pop.
First triple of his career, and for the Tigers, that is their 13th of the season. That ties Chicago for the American League lead. John Hicks stands in with 2 down, and the proverbial duck on the pond.
These 2-out ducks are even better.
They make you feel better, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Tapped. It's going to be a tough play. Santiago's going to have to hurry, and he got him. Good play.
Just watch that fastball opener, change up second pitch, make the adjustment. Tigers get off to a good start here in the first, and they lead 2-0. advantage. Francisco Liriano has the Bernstein advantage. Look at the slider. 2015 was his best year with it. 2018, he's equally dominating. 119 average. How many has he thrown out of the 13 pitches today? 6. So I think he's trying to find it and has found it so far.
Is that unusual for a guy to be later on in his career and find that pitch more successful than his elite season?
It's a great pitch, but if you hang it, I mean, look how low that is and how sweeping that is. There's no real hump in it. It's hard to see.
So as a hitter, how do you handle that pitch?
You try and take it. You try and recognize where it comes out. Now see, through the first one down the middle breaking off. This one was off the body. So when you're a veteran guy, I think you generally have better feel for all your pitches. You come out in the same arm slot, same release point.
Daniel Palka.
That's a wicked slider.
3 in a row. See ya. Second strikeout for Francisco Liriano today.
Say good morning, good afternoon,
and good night.
There you see on the side of the ball right there. Real good bite on that slider.
Yoan Moncada stands in from the right side.
No fastballs.
Swung as a lefty last night, went 1 for 4 with a double and a run score, but he did strike out a couple of times.
Moncada hitting better against righties, actually. Only 150 versus lefties.
Do you think there's ever a time where a switch hitter has those type of splits and says, you know what, I'm just going to hit left-handed all the time?
The only time I really heard about that was knuckleballers. Righties would hit off a right-handed knuckleball thrower, or a lefty would hit off a left-handed knuckleball thrower.
Doesn't help that Moncada has never seen Francisco Liriano except on tape. 2-1 pitch. Grounded to third. Easy play for Candelario. Spend Memorial Day at Comerica Park when the Tigers take on Mike Trout and the Angels of Anaheim. Enjoy great savings with a weekday value pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas for as little as $20. For tickets, go to tigers.com/value. Angels a loser last night, but Trout with his 16th bomb of the year.
He's a talent, that's for sure. They'll be coming by soon, won't they? They're due to come up here to Comerica Park very soon.
Yeah, Monday, right.
Got another guy that's pretty good too that they're talking about. Not sure whether he's going to. Yeah, Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Somebody's got to write a song about that name, don't they?
I'm sure they.
Shohei Ohtani.
Somebody's in the works. Yeah, they lost to the Yankees last night 2-1. Gleyber Torres hit a homer. There's a base knock for Adam Engel. Torres hit a homer, 4th straight game, Gibby, in which he has homered, and that is a new American League rookie record.
Boy, these rookies are really good turnover coming up to the game now, isn't it?
No doubt.
All over the league.
And in addition to that, we saw the big guy, Aaron Judge, throw out 2 runners, 1 at home, 1 at second, and they were absolute seeds.
Missiles, lasers.
Oh. Ron Gardenhire said earlier today, he says, the guy's got a cannon. Trace Thompson stands in. Thompson playing left field after playing right last night. So second start in left for Thompson. And you and I were talking about some of the best right fielders in the game that we've ever seen. Gene Roof, roving instructor for the Tigers, is in our booth here today, and we were talking about a number of other guys that he brought to mind, including George Hendricks.
George Hendricks, everybody's always messing with me.
Is that what you say?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he also brought up Dave Winfield, by the way, who we omitted last night.
He was very good.
Yeah.
Roberto, do we have him on the list?
We did. Yeah, we had him on the list for sure. Good lead at first. Grounder to short. And they'll go the easy way to get out of the inning. Good start for Liriano and the Tigers on Fox Sports Detroit.
I'm going to work 2 years, unless I just have so much fun I can't quit, but I don't expect to have that.
I like that. See, here's an open end.
That's the 1-800-CALL-SAM call of the game, and Al Kaline was way off. Still involved in the organization. The organization's fortunate to have it, and we in Detroit are fortunate to have one of the greatest athletes this town's ever had.
He's sharp as attack.
Good job on Tigers Live with him, by the way.
To talk to. I mean, you cherish every time. He's sharp, and he'll tell you the way it is. You know, Al Kaline is, if he believes in something, and one of the answers he gave about Tram, I mean, yes, he tried to help get him recognized as for the vote, but he said he had a lot of friends that asked him to do that. He didn't believe in Tram or Jack. He would never be involved. So he's a man of integrity, and we are blessed to have him here in the Tigers organization still after all those years.
We sure are. There's 3 more who deserve to be in Cooperstown who've worn the English D. Got to get working on that and see if it can happen. James McCann stands in. 7-8-9 for Detroit here in the second.
I didn't bite on that.
Well, I assume you already know my line of thinking there.
The 3 more?
Yeah.
Let's just leave it as open-ended for later discussion. I'm getting nervous.
You got it. 2-2 to James McCann. 0 for 3 last night. 1 for 11 this year against Chicago.
McCann's had pretty good luck, hitting over 300 against lefties.
Nobody's had great luck against Hector Santiago, though. McCann 1 for 5, or 1 for 17, or 5 for 17, excuse me, about 294. That's about as good as anybody has had in this lineup who's faced him on a regular basis. 5 for 17.
Well, James got the fastball inside, and then he went change up away. So I'm recognizing that this is a sequence for sure he's going to go with.
Sky to center. Engler. And Engel makes the play. 36 starts in center for Adam Engel. If Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring in a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper on the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com. They already have one. Jamer Candelario in the first, his 6th of the year.
Tell you what, the ball is really taken off. Can you tell from up here, Shep? Today, it's again, I think the heat on the field that always makes the ball rise. Good lively crowd too today. You can hear when the ball's hit. They're on it.
Perfect day too. 77 degrees to start. So very comfortable.
Memorial Day weekend. Everybody's excited to be outside finally.
Should be. Grounder to short. Anderson tries to throw his counterpart Art and does. All right, here's Victor Reyes. Give me the Rule 5 pick. Going to be on this team all season long. What do the Tigers see most in Victor Reyes?
Well, first of all, they saw him in spring training where he had a great spring. He's very athletic. He can play all 3 outfield positions. And I think that they're curious to see if he can develop. You know, he may be a little behind. They had to leave him unprotected. There you go.
Base hit.
Knock.
His 4th hit as a Tiger. And it comes with 2 out here in the second.
He likes to run too. Ball's out of the way. Look, it takes it the other way like you should do. You get up there and you're all hyped up. You roll it over. It's a ground ball out. But Reyes, after all those days on the bench, does it right. That, you know, that kind of shows you that he has the ability to calm down. Although he's hitting at the bottom of the order, you know, he's been able to play a couple innings in the field, so that's well designed by Gardy.
Yeah, Ron Gardenhire said, I really appreciate his work ethic. Even when he's not playing, he's in the cage, he's taking his swings, he's working on his game in the outfield. And that cannot be easy, Gibby. If you're not playing, you want to reap the rewards. And Gardenhire, as you mentioned earlier, has taken it upon himself. Look, I'll take the blame. I haven't done what I said I was going to do in spring training. I got to get him more ABs, and he's doing it here today on this Saturday afternoon.
Little slide step change up right there.
Jones grounded to third in the first.
If you didn't know last night, should let you know the Tigers are going to run the bases. And Dave Clark, the third base coach, is going to be sending you. So get yourself a good secondary lead over there, and when that ball goes in that gap, fly. And be ready for Clarkie to send you.
Reyes has one stolen base.
He definitely could score on a long single or a gap for sure.
He's got those long legs. Caught him leaning, but timeout was called at home anyway.
Yeah, when you're at the plate, Jacoby Jones, you know, you take a blink and you're hoping that you've got it timed right so you don't have to blink again before the pitcher throws the ball. When they hold you like that, you can kind of feel, you know, if you just held your eyes open, how you get that feeling. You got to step out.
Tigers is a team batting .263 against lefties this year. Fourth best in the American League. Left-handed starters anyway. Foul down the right field line.
A couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, Jacoby was locked in. Right now he's searching a little bit, but he's getting a lot of playing time, playing with energy. He does make things happen when he does get on.
Well, that's the thing. Ron Garner said Jacoby Jones doesn't look over his shoulder any longer. He knows he's going to be in the lineup. That's a big mental difference for a young player.
It is.
There goes Reyes. Give him the bag.
Tell you what I loved about this play right here. What strikes you about this play?
Never looked back. Stayed on the bag.
Victor had a great jump. And Jacoby Jones, struggling as he may, took that pitch so he could get that steal. Many guys don't like to give that away. That's a great teamwork right there. Would you rather have a 1-2 count with a guy in second in scoring position? I think you do. You'll watch a lot of guys. They'll swing the bat. Many guys talk about that. Will you give me a strike? I'll get down there for you.
You were talking about peaking last night during the broadcast. Reyes never peaked, and that's what you're supposed to do as a base stealer, right? Kept his eye focused on second.
We'll talk about that. Like if you had a guy like Alan Trammell who's behind you, I'd say, hey, give me a strike, and that meant I'm not peaking because you're quicker if you don't peak. Or I'd say, don't worry about it. You're at bat. I'll peak. So that means you be ready to hit. You don't have to cover me. If I'm gone, I'll peak. You hit. So it can be either way. It's just another communicative thing that you go through on the diamond. You learn your teammates. He's worried about him. Look at Santiago.
Punched foul. How do you get that communication across? If you're on first base and Trammell's in the batter's box, how do you communicate that to him?
Well, one of two ways. I'd do it before I went up, or we'd have personal signs. I just always would reach down and, like one sign would be, I'd grab the ribbon on the side of my leg. You know, you look at there's a little blue strip that runs down the side of that white pant leg. Just grab it, just kind of scratch it, and let him know.
Another 1-2 pitch. Another foul ball. So sort of like a wide receiver and quarterback in football. When you played wide receiver at MSU, you would oftentimes give Eddie Smith some type of signal.
Yeah, he gave me it. Actually, it was an audible, but it was pretty predictable with Darryl Rogers, our coach. He was like, you know, we'd get snuggled down there. They'd punt us down to the 1-inch line. 3 bombs. Darryl would say, we're just going to go for it. But yeah, you know, again, no matter what you do, whether you're at work or you're at your home with your family, communication's wonderful.
Second time that Santiago has faked Reyes back.
So that game last night, again, look at how much he's got. 2 outs. You'd think he'd just be wanting to get the out here.
Right.
But the Tigers have put a little bug in the White Sox ears about their aggressiveness.
Yeah, what did you say in our open? You talked about them being aggressive. They're going to stay that way. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Reyes with his 4th hit of the year. Made it interesting for the Tigers. They still lead it by 2.
Manfred told his story just moments ago. Last night, Gleyber Torres becoming the youngest player in American League history to homer in 4 straight games, helping the Yankees to a 2-1 win over the Angels. Shep, I'm just a little game break guy here, but do you not get a rotation of the game breaks scheduled? So you might leave this for, you know, the little game break boy?
Well, you're so well prepared all the time. I just figured you would dive right into this part of it. You know, skip right over the highlight and just start giving us the really juicy information about youth and homers in 4 straight games with Andrew Jones, Albert Pujols, and Miguel Cabrera. That's where I thought you were going, Keith. So I didn't mean to mow your lawn.
I
there.
just had my grass cut by Matt Shepard again. Again.
Oh, just call me Mr. Toro, right? Keith, you did see the Aaron Judge throws, right? I assume you were locked in and watched that a little bit, right?
I did not.
Oh, man. You got to go back and look at those. Absolute seeds. Torres, by the way, batting .333 on the year. Oh, hum for a rookie. Alfredo Gonzalez watches Francisco Liriano make quick work of him. Here's the Judge throws, Keats. Watch these.
It's the big story.
Very impressive.
He's a big boy. He's got a lot of torque in that arm. This is right on the money.
That's 100 miles per hour. Right there. That is a frozen rope.
Missed the cutoff, man.
It was just fair. And Maldonado's going
This one, he doesn't even look like he's throwing that hard. And yet he pins the guy at second. They were really, really good, and they needed it because it was a 2-1 final. So good ball game between 2 very good teams, by the way. And we'll see them both coming up here during this home stretch for the Tigers. This is game 2 of a 12-game homestand. And they are playing 16 games in 15 days.
That sounds like fun.
That's a lot of work.
You're going to have to play your whole squad.
Do you think they should enlarge baseball rosters?
I don't know. I mean, so you could rotate them more?
So you could have a few more guys at your disposal.
I think they've done a good job on the double headers, how they've done that, you know. And I know I've heard of some suggest that seasons should be shortened.
I don't buy into that.
Well, there's a group of players that I heard talking about it I think they would reduce the roster if they did that.
Anderson draws a walk, the second walk delivered by Francisco Liriano today. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, and some of those players who said as much, that was, remember, that was earlier in the season when there were a lot of games canceled because of the weather. And some of those players admitted, hey, yeah, we'll take the smaller paycheck. Well, you're not asking the guys who aren't making your kind of money about that type of pay cut either. So you got to be careful when you're trying to speak for everyone.
There was a time it was down 23-24 for a couple of years. There was only 24. That's a 25-man roster now.
Yolmer Sanchez stands in.
Tim Anderson, 11 steals, 1 caught, so you're going to have to keep an eye on him. James McCann, be ready.
Yeah, we mentioned last night he's also 36 for 40 in his major league career.
With Anderson, a base stealer, I think you got to throw over there 4 or 5 times in a row. You might get him. With the first baseman Hicks, you got to come off and get it.
The White Sox as a team, #1 in all of baseball in stolen bases with 43. And their success rate of 84.3% is second best in the majors. Matter of fact, they've been successful in their last 7 attempts.
That was tight.
Sanchez struck out swinging back in the second. McCann had to throw him out at first. 1 down here in the third. Perfect pitch.
You can notice more fastballs with Tim Anderson at first base. Wants to give James McCann a chance to cut him down.
I was going to say that helps the catcher an awful lot.
.16 sliders out of 35 pitches so far. Get a man on base, that ratio is skewing the other way.
Grade Liriano's move for us.
Well, I mean, he's holding. He's quick pitching to first and to the plate.
Foul ball.
Another heater there. So he's I would say he's got a great deceiving move, but he knows how to manage the runner. He'll probably lift one here and give Anderson some different looks.
Anderson on base with his 16th walk of the season. That's a new career high for him. Tap foul. We invite you to stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game, where we will select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game. It's presented by McDonald's. John Keating, Rod Allen helping us in that regard. Johnny Kane around the ballpark alongside Kirk Gibson. I'm Matt Shepard filling in for Mario Impemba, who's celebrating his son's wedding today. Congratulations to the Impemba family. Mario will be back with us on Tuesday. Well-deserved time off for our friend Mario.
Congratulations in store as well.
No wonder he works so many games. Pay for that wedding, man. Ooh, just missed. And McCann froze it there for a moment.
Liriano wanted it. Where was it? Was it up? Was it down? Was it in?
Is it in? Yeah, a little in tight.
Oh, could have gave it to him. There's a veteran pitcher working the umpire right there.
Strike zone a little smaller today than it was when you played?
Well, I think so, but that's just with all the measuring devices, that has to be. Back in the
But it doesn't have to be. It can still be armpits to knees.
Well, but I think it's up and down. I think it's the zone more. They call the high pitch more, unless you want to go way back when they had the bubble protector. I think the wideness, they don't call it way off like they used to.
Gotcha. Sanchez battling. Got him looking.
Came right back with it.
Second time Sanchez has grabbed some bench. And there's 2 down.
Looks like the 2-seam fastball. He comes in. The one pitch he didn't get, he came back in there, made it a little better. And the gooch behind the plate gives him the call. And that was about 2 inches more on the plate. Chris Guccione, he's been around a long time.
Jose Abreu, who walked back in the first with 2 down. Abreu in May, 332, 13 doubles, a couple of homers, and 16 runs driven in. A beast in the month and a beast against the Tigers as well.
Anderson's got that good ratio going. He's really trying to set him up.
What's a good lead against a lefty?
Depends if he's got a good step-off move. That's the move where he just steps off with his back foot and flicks it over there.
So the old rule used to be 3 large steps from first, right? So you're looking at about 12 feet.
Yeah, I would say the leads started about 9 feet.
Okay.
Anderson's playing coy over there.
Yeah, it's good. Ground ball wide of third. Menards brings you the big money encounter, and it deals with Jose Abreu. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Joe DiMaggio did it from 36 through 41. Pujols' 10 will probably never be duplicated. Abreu's success of 25 homers, 100 RBI seasons to begin a career is probably gone a little bit under the radar. And you see what kind of numbers he's on pace for right now. So far, Abreu has driven in 28 and homered 8 times.
He'll be at 100 again.
The 1-2. Just missed.
Ariano really hitting up and in this inning. Started off with that slider. Now he's trying to reestablish that fastball.
5th start at home for Liriano. 2-0. With an ERA slightly above 4.5. Ready on the 2-2 pitch. Full. I like the way he works. I don't recall when he, in his previous stops, him working this quickly.
Well, he certainly has this year. Remember Chris Bosio, one of his directives when he came into spring training.
Get it and throw it. Anderson on the move. Scalded to left. Jones will have to get to this. Anderson's going to round third. He will score without a problem. And Abreu with a 2-out RBI double.
It's the guy you don't want to mess with, but it really had no choice but to do it. And on first, gets him 3-2. Good pitch, really, but Abreu, the good hitter he is, just drives it down into the left field corner. See Tim Anderson is on his way. That doesn't help either, the 3-2 count. Victor Reyes did the best he could to get it in, but not soon enough. Now Tigers lead 2-1.
21st career double against Detroit for Abreu. And his 49th RBI in his career against the Tigers. Most likely a guy who will stay in Chicago, though the White Sox have dealt off some very good talent. Chris Sale, for example, years past. Question whether Chicago could get back and return what they need or what they feel they deserve for a guy like Jose Abreu, who many people view more as a DH than anything else. Knowing that the White Sox will probably retain him for a while, Rick Renteria went to him in the offseason and said, look, last year, you want to play first base every day? You think you can help us more defensively? You've got to get better there. And to his credit, he's put in the time and effort.
You're seeing not as many strikes, the ratio right now. Liriano's came out throwing strikes right out of the gate, and Chicago's seen what he's featuring as well, so that's going to make things a little tougher.
Rondon flew out to right in his first at bat. Sends it that way here, but it's going to be foul.
.50 pitches, 25 of them in the third.
White Sox taking a page out of the Tigers book and battling the guy on the mound. Make him work. Make him make the mistake. That's what Ron Gardenhire preaches to his guys. Liriano kicks and fires, missed it inside. Another full count.
Well, we were talking about the umpire, Chris Guccione. He, in 2 months worth of games so far, he's calling the fewest strikes of any umpire this season. So it's going to have to be on the plate. Chris Guccione behind the plate. There you have it. Limits the strike zone at the top and bottom. Right-handed batters and lefties. He's got Gardy 4 times. So Gardy knows the buzzwords.
It's one of my favorite parts of the broadcast. Love the scouting report on the home plate umpire. Payoff pitch to Rondon. Lost it. Hey, Tiger fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. It's made available by T-Mobile. Most people, they don't know what they'd do without their phones today. All you have to do is ask my 14-year-old daughter.
You limit that data use?
Well, we limit the use of the phone. Put it away at 7:30 every night.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help?
Got Abreu at second.
And Rondon at first with the Tigers up 2-1. Daniel Palka struck out on 3 straight pitches. A slow tapper to short. Iglesias has 1 play and makes it beautifully. White Sox on the board. Detroit's hottest hitters, including the guy who leads them in homers, due up in the 3rd. Player, it's Castellanos, and the most multi-hit games this year. He had 3 hits last night. It's the 8th game this year he's had 3 hits or more. That's number 3 in the league. He's also number 3 in the league in multi-hit games. Nick Markakis might be the biggest surprise name on that list. He's amongst the league leaders in the National League for the Braves in batting average as well. But that's a select company. Really good names there, including ex-Tiger JD Martinez, who went yard last night for Boston, Gibby, his 16th bomb of the year. Mookie Betts also hit a homer for the Red Sox, his 17th of the season.
Yeah, they've got a good combination there. Boston will be on there in a week or 10 days from now, taking on the Bo Sox.
You were talking during our open today about Castellanos becoming more of a complete player. I asked him about that because of his defense in right field last night. He said that's the goal, to be a better hitter, a better fielder, a better base runner, and a better teammate. Fisted to center. Engel has the angle, and there's one down. Here's Johnny Kane. Hi, Johnny.
Shep, how you doing, man? We're up here high above the first base side. And I'm going to say it. I'll say it. Tigers are 2.5 games out of first place. And I know every time we bring it up, everybody says, well, look at where you are in the season. But you're 50 games in. We're here at the Memorial Day weekend. So I brought it up to Ron Gardenhire today. I said, how early is too early to start looking at that stuff and starting to feel good about yourself? And he said, I don't pay any attention to it. You know, you try to go out there and handle your business day to day. And they say that all the time, especially in the grind of a major league season. And Gibby, you can speak to this being a manager. It's tough, sometimes easier said than done, of being able to just compartmentalize and just focus on the day to day. But he said as soon as you start looking at all this other stuff, seeing where you're at, peeking into the standings this early in the season, then you don't take care of your business that day. And he said this is a club, they come out here hungry, ready to fight every day, and they've done a nice job about that.
Yeah, a lot of that comes from his attitude about the whole thing. He doesn't get up or down. He's very steady. He doesn't punish his players for making mistakes. He encourages it. But when you do that, you know better. You have conversations.
Get out of here. Make it 2 bombs for Candelario. Someone ate their Wheaties this morning.
I guess he's better, huh?
Think he's healthy? He told us that yesterday. I feel 100%. First multi-homer game of his prospering career. And the Tigers are back in front by 2.
You know what I like about it is, you remember they were trying to pound him recently in the last couple of games? He made an adjustment. He's ready for that pitch today. They better get it way deep in there to think that they're going to be able to get him out. But he's pulled those hands in on both home runs. First one they missed their location. This one here they got it in there, but he was ready. The Candyman can.
He's reached safely in 20 straight games, Gibby. That's the longest streak in the American League. Victor Martinez pops it up. Anderson's ready for it. 2 down.
Well, let's take a look. What does it take? Break him while they try and get it in there. Look at him pull his hands in there. Really quick, short, compact swing.
It's tough to impress major leaguers, but you talk to guys in that clubhouse and they'll tell you that dude can flat out hit, and that tells you something. 2 down, Nico Goodrum, who had his first career triple back in the first, but was left stranded.
Let's take a homer this time, and he can take care of it himself.
Getting greedy, huh?
Why not? Got a good feel. Good buzz down here at the park today after last night's victory. Come from behind victory.
11th one-run victory of the year. Goodrum slaps one to center. Engel makes his second putout of the inning, but the Tigers get on the board again thanks to Jeimer Candelario, his second homer of the game, his 7th of the season. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Pitch by pitch, Francisco Liriano coming off a beauty of a performance in Seattle. Tried to establish that slider today, and boy did he ever. Coming out throwing the slider. They have not handled it at all. There he comes with the fastball inside. Needs the ground ball. Gets out of the inning. So far, you just take a look at his pitch usage. He really came on with the slider. 43% fastballs, 39 sliders to change, 18%. Through 3 innings, he's given up a hit and a run. Walked 3 and struck out. He's navigated his way through trouble in the 2nd inning by staying tight on the White Sox batters. He's not going to give in. So he's off to a good start.
4 strikeouts so far on this Saturday afternoon. Moncada, Engel, and Thompson ready to face him here to start the 4th. Moncada delivers a high pop-up, shallow center. Jones and Goodrum converge, and it'll be Goodrum putting it away. We invite you to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the movie The Sandlot, when the Tigers face the Blue Jays on Saturday, June 2nd at 4:10. Special ticket packages are on sale right now and include a Sandlot t-shirt, game ticket, and donation to the Boys and Girls Club of America. For tickets, go to tigers.com/Sandlot. Every time you watch that movie, by the way, do you not get inspired or at least reflect back on your childhood when you and your buddies used to ride your bikes up to the local ball field and play some baseball? Right field is out today because you didn't have enough guys. At least that's the way I feel.
Well, or running up on an elderly game, maybe some guys 3-4 years older, and you didn't get a chance to step in because they needed another player.
Yeah.
Yeah, bike, run, bike.
I used to put the glove on the handlebar, right? Put the glove on the handlebar and ride up, pack your lunch, and go up there. You're there all day long.
Stop at the railroad tracks? You ever have to do that?
No, we didn't have railroad tracks. We had a creek, though.
So what park was that for you?
It was right near our junior high at the time, so it wasn't far for me.
So it was like you used to go to the high school field.
You did? Okay. Which high school
well,
field?
We would go elementary,
yeah,
junior high, high school.
Anywhere you could find.
Anything that was open.
Absolutely. Liriano with his 5th strikeout. And the 2nd assist for McCann tonight. 2 down.
So how about on the way home? You should play a long thing. Where do you go?
Well, my mom would blow the whistle from the porch, and that's when we knew we had to come home.
So no stops? You didn't like hit a refreshment place like for a pop or something, like a root beer?
I grew up in Farmington Hills, okay? So 12 and Orchard. There used to be, I'm really dating myself up, there used to be a Ben Franklin right there. And we'd run over there and grab some Faygo Pop or some Pepsi or something like that.
The big treat for us was the A&W.
Oh, yeah. You get the hot dog, too?
Of course.
Yeah. So the root beer float?
Yes.
You still do it?
I don't know, but I mean, I do have an ice cream problem.
Well, for what it's worth, Gibby's usually pretty healthy here. Good salad today. Getting his greens. Trace Thompson stands in with 2 down. His team down by 2. 0 for 1 so far here on this Saturday, and 1 for 5 in the series.
Another ball just off the corner, no call. The Gooch is going to keep it his way, and it is consistent.
Counts even.
Looked like he was looking for something else right there. Got the changeup, I believe. More changeups to the righties than the lefties. More sliders to the lefties, probably.
And we're through 3.5. Well done by Francisco Liriano. Quick work. Detroit is brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit, and by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. Gorgeous day on this Saturday, and it's fun to be at the ballpark, isn't it?
Great day.
John Hicks, James McCann, Jose Iglesias.
Now Hicks, first pitch, fastball, last at bat, hit a number on the second pitch changeup, so he's got to look out for that. He's got to get the ball up, maybe sit change. Got the heater instead this time. Remember, he had a guy on base last time, so it's a little different treatment. Goodrum was on third after his triple.
Does that change your mindset as a batter?
Well, I think it changes the pitcher's mindset because they realize you're more aggressive, and they're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. They're going to throw all their pitches. Right now, he's throwing with 3 fastballs in a row. Off.
Play him to pull a little bit. That one's high and tight, 3-1.
This game's going to get down to bullpens. The tight zone by the umpire, and you know, got to be careful. You just can't throw a ball down the middle of the plate on a day like today where the ball's carrying.
Tigers don't walk a lot. Hicks in a 3-2 count has a chance for their first of the day. They are last in the American League in free passes. Goes back to your aggressive nature for this team that we talked about in our open.
Well, the Tigers, when they get on base, they really go. But as you said, getting on 235 with runners in scoring position, they certainly want to have that brought up. 6th in the league in batting average, though.
Fought that one off.
Yeah, 254. Yeah, that's what you got to do. He's got to protect against that slider and that changeup.
Went the opposite way. Well done. Tomorrow it's one of the biggest races of the year. Kevin Harvick looks to make it 3 in a row at the Coca-Cola 600 at Fox. All starts at 5:30 Eastern or stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
That's good hitting right there. You could see Hicks guarding against that changeup, fouling a couple off, and then the White Sox stayed with the hard stuff, and he just hit it to the right side of the infield, threw for a hit. Rewarded for the good approach.
Leadoff man on for the first time today for the Tigers. Foul tipped into the glove of Alfredo Gonzalez.
Santiago right there, 154 on the leg lift. That's pretty lengthy. Hicks not a base stealer, but maybe you picked one, you could get it.
Good low signal for Gonzalez. McCann got under that one just a little bit. Sanchez with good range, there's one down. Brings up Jose Iglesias, and I thought Ron Gardenhire had some really interesting comments about Iglesias while you and I talked to him this morning about his desire, but also really heady ball player. He said he's a guy who is really in tune to the game, looking at all different aspects of the game, defensively and offensively. And he says the more I'm around him, the more I learn about him, the more I recognize that. You as an ex-manager, how long does that take?
Well, I think that he's come over and he's heard certain things there. Gardy's given the signs. He's wants to know the player, know the person first. He wants to give him the freedom to do what he wants to do. But he's noticing little adjustments that he makes. He was on third base the other day. Make it go through or go on contact, he was asked. Gardy said he's going to make it go through. So he shortened his lead up, which Gardy told us. That tells me that he's thinking about the game. Because if you stayed in the same spot, you would be exposing yourself more than you need to. make it go through means you're going to make the ball go through the infield before you advanced home. So why take a big lead?
This one hammered to left center. That's going to get down. And that is off the wall. And over the wall. That's a bad break for the Tigers. Hicks would have easily scored.
Will they ever change this rule? John Hicks was at second base when that ball hit. He would have easily scored, would he not? But the rule says 2 bases or an extra base from when it goes over where you started. See, this ball hits right on the track, up and over the fence. Thompson puts the arms up. Iglesias has a double. Hicks on the third.
Gibby, that's 42 straight games now for the Tigers with at least 1 double.
1 away from the record.
1 away from tying the franchise record. That's a crazy statistic. That record was set back when Ty Cobb still played, folks.
Watch the change-ups coming here.
Infield in for Chicago. Reyes. Anderson's going to come home, and that's why the ground rule double hurts.
I mean, here you are. You got a chance. You got the infield in. You see how it all happens in front of your eyes. Good pickup. Hicks is hung out. That's what you do. Victor Reyes maybe wished he had that pitch back. Looks like it got into him a little bit. We were talking about this last night. When they need that strikeout, or they need that ground ball, they're going to come in. Unless you're a dead pull hitter, then they'll mix some down and away and hope you roll it.
Big out for Santiago. Runners at the corners now with 2 down.
Might see a double steal here. Especially with 2 strikes.
All right, you're the manager. What are you telling Alfredo Gonzalez if that indeed is the case? Because the man at first, Victor Reyes, swiped a bag back in the second.
What am I telling who? The catcher?
Catcher, right. Are you throwing through?
I don't know. Well, they say he throws good. I think you want to check the guy at third before you go through. They may have, I don't know what their infield plays are as well. Just take off early and make this, put some pressure on him.
Jones in an 0-2 hole.
No signs going out there. He's got little signs, I know, that reaction signs. Could be anything, any one of those little movements. He's got probably a flash sign with first base coach Ramon Santiago. Maybe he doesn't give a sign. Maybe he looks to the left. Maybe he puts his finger in his ear. Maybe he scratches his chin. Maybe he yawns.
He keeps us guessing. The 0-2, no, he's going to throw to first.
But see, Abreu, you know, there's a debate over whether he's a good first baseman or not. Would we agree on that?
Yes.
Put the pressure on him.
Yeah,
Take off, make him throw it.
Yeah.
Getting the run down. Iglesias will go right away. If Reyes takes off and makes Abreu throw the ball, you got a chance.
Instead, Jacoby Jones, for the 2nd time today, strikes out swinging. Tigers put some pressure on. They still lead by 2 through 4.
all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
A couple of homers from Jamer Candelario have given the Tigers a 3-1 lead as we begin the fifth. Francisco Liriano will face the number 9 1-2 hitters in this Chicago lineup. Tigers have won 5 straight against Chicago, and this year in the 4-game set thus far had outscored them 21-12 coming into the game here today.
Just hoping that Liriano can keep it going. Looking here, you've got Greeny in the 9th, Joe Jimenez in the 8th, and Coleman in the 7th. Okay, so we're in the top of the 5th here, right? We got to cover the 5th and the 6th by. Got to be ready if you're Ron Gardenhire. He's thinking about it.
What did Gardenhire tell you and I before the game today? 7, 8, 9 are the most difficult innings in the baseball.
Well, I know that we know Green's going to do 9, and we know Joe's going to get 8.
Right. Green with his 11th save of the year last night. Punched foul.
So if you're the manager, you're 2 innings away from having the plan that you want. I mean, he wants him to go as deep as he can. At 8 innings would be beautiful.
Sure.
But he really wants to get to 7. So he feels pretty confident about what he's got. 7, 8, 9 as far as set, and it's a strikeout.
7th strikeout of the day.
He's got that live fastball.
Yeah, some late giddy up, huh?
Yeah, there's a little finish on it. Watch how it had a little finish. 92 mile an hour right at that up and away quadrant. That's a hard pitch to hit.
Tim Anderson, who walked and scored back in the 3rd.
Showing a lot of balls inside today to the righties. Well, he came out, really established that slider, slider, slider. Now he's mixing. Oh,
excuse me, swing.
That just disappeared. Threw that fastball the first pitch. Now you're going to speed the bat up, and it disappears.
Just missed inside. Look out. That's gone. On a 1-2 offering, Tim Anderson hits his team high 9th homer of the year.
Tried to sneak the 2-seamer by him, I think. There you see the grip, 2-seamer. Tim Anderson was waiting, did not get it in quite as much as he's been. And Anderson hits another one out. He's strong.
Sure is. Way ahead of schedule. Last year's 17. Now 9 on the year. And he pulls the White Sox to within 1.
Sanchez has struck out 2 times so far, so let's hope that trend continues.
And it does. That's a season high 8th K for Francisco Liriano.
Lots of changeups, lots of sliders. Look at there, changeup right there. Really turned that ball over. Ball went down and away. 8 Ks for Liriano. Already here in the top of the 5th.
Had 7 against Baltimore earlier this year. Now with 2 down, Abreu stands in. Maybe more importantly, with the bases clear. Abreu's been on base both times today. A walk in the first, an RBI double in the third. Good pitch.
He likes that low strike. He
Sure
will
does.
call it.
Pound him inside here, or you stay away?
I think he's going to bounce one or throw one well elevated. Bounce it and block it. Threw it right where he wanted it. Just a little bit off. You try to get hitters to start looking for certain pitches, and then you change it up on them and you get them looking.
Overthrew that one.
That's 2 off the plate away after an 0-2 count. Got to believe he's going to either get that slider under the hands right here, going to pound that fastball in.
3 hits and a couple of doubles in the series for Abreu thus far. Barely got a piece of that one.
Got 80. Third inning was a struggle, but the other innings well within what you would call not too much high leverage situation.
Skied to right. Castellanos going deep, and it is gone. That one carried a lot further than I thought, and we're tied at 3. That's some serious strength right there, isn't it?
Yeah, and that ball's really flying out that way. Just like the Tigers last night. Tigers got behind, came back. White Sox got behind, and here they come. This ball's trying to keep it away from you. It's actually off the plate. Good backspin on it, and just carries and carries, and Nick has no play.
Jose Rondon stands in. Grounder to short. Nice backhand by Iglesias. Strong throw to close out the inning. But the White Sox get a pair of solo homers. Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu. And we're deadlocked at 3. By TGI Fridays. Get it here or get it to go. In here, it's always Friday. And it's the Chevy Memorial Day sales event. Start your summer off right in a new Chevrolet. With Kirk Gibson, Johnny Kane, John Keating, Rod Allen. I'm Matt Shepard. Happy holidays to you. on this Saturday afternoon. The Tigers were up 3-1. Now it's 3-3 because of solo homers there in the Chicago half of the fifth from Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu. Both have had very strong first two games in this series here at Comerica Park. Tied at 3. It's Castellanos, Candelario, and Martinez for Detroit.
Well, remember what we talked about in yesterday's game or opener of the open of the telecast about Abreu, and if you could pitch around a bit, you got nobody on base with 2 outs and a 2-strike count. You're not going to pitch around him, and he actually made a pitch off the plate and paid the price. You just got to tip your hat. That's good hitting. I don't think they pretty much got a wide open slate over there on the right side of the diamond.
It's a little surprising, isn't it? I mean, Castellanos can go the other way.
But he pulls the ball on the ground and he hits it in the air the other way.
Second best average in the American League against lefties. Climbed the ladder and got him swinging.
Time for the DTE Know Your Own Power. 2 home runs for Jamer so far today. 1 in the first and then 1 in the third. Got all 3 RBI in the game for the Tigers, and Jamer's feeling it. Just back off the disabled list.
A total of 784 feet combined for the 2 home runs. Foul back.
Youngest Tiger, 24 years, 183 days to have a multi-hit home run since Nick.
Castellanos doing it at Wrigley Field, which is ironic considering Candelario came from Chicago. What a deal that was for Al Avila, huh?
Yeah, he's made some good ones.
And you've got your third baseman now into the future for.
And he's a switch hitter.
Yeah, for a couple of guys who went there and I'm sure helped Chicago a little bit, but are not part of their long-term plans or even short-term plans per se.
Third baseman, switch hitter. He's he fits the prototype of third baseman. He's got gap power. He's going to hit his home runs and a good makeup. That's one of the things that when you're scouting players is very important to figure out their character and their makeup.
And got him swinging. Lost the bat too. 4th strikeout of the day for Hector Santiago. Victor Martinez takes on the Chicago White Sox today by AARP. His career numbers against Chicago, gaudy for sure.
Lifetime average of 323. Look at all the hits, 31 home runs, 122 RBI.
The hits and RBIs, the active leader in the American League. The 122nd RBI came last night. Stands in with 2 down, then an 0 for 2 day. Grounded to second in the first and popped up to short last time up. And suddenly, Gibby, Hector Santiago
settling in.
Has settled in, yeah.
A lot of fastballs this inning. Just really found some life himself. That home run that Abreu hit kind of lifted his spirits from where they were.
Last game Santiago threw was against Baltimore. Threw a season high 6 innings and boasted a season best 7 strikeouts. Today just 4 Ks, but his offense has helped him crawl into a 3-3 tie. Base hit for Martinez.
Well, it's a good 2-out single for Victor. Got the heater. Hector Santiago been featuring a lot of those this inning. Victor, the nice 2-out base hit. That'll leave it up to Nico. Show some power, Nico, right?
Sure. Has 5 homers on the season. And a 1 for 2 days so far. And has hit the ball hard on both at bats. Tripled back in the first and then ripped one to center in the third for a long out. First and fourth, a little bit of a struggle for Santiago, but overall pretty consistent.
Well, whenever Jamer came up, it's tough on him because he's got the 2 home runs. Tigers have 7 hits on the game.
One and two.
By really going up that high fastball, that's a pitch that he's known for, and all of a sudden he's really found it, and the Tigers can't lay off. I know he's got Jacoby on a couple up there. He's got McCann, Nick, and now Nico on the last swing.
Hoping to do it again.
Yeah, keeps throwing it up there. No, he could. You got to watch out for. He could throw a breaking pitch out of that same plane. It comes up. You're telling yourself, I got to lay off that pitch. You know, all of a sudden they put a wrinkle in it and it comes down. Ooh,
it's full.
They'll play behind Victor and he'll get a head start.
Abreu and Martinez have a nice little chat down there at first base.
Yeah, if Abreu gets deep, Victor's got to really cheat and go.
On the move. And Santiago lost him. Well, the Tigers face the White Sox tomorrow at 1:10. Enjoy the Sunday family value deal at every Sunday home game. 4 value meals plus game tickets start at just $20 per person. For tickets, visit tigers.com/value. Tigers have won 7 of the last 11 at home against Chicago. And the entire infield in to converse about what they do against John Hicks.
Hicks had to hit the other way in his last at bat. That's looking at how many visits. Is that their second visit of the game? Where's scoreboard tells how many you get? 6 a game.
Yeah, I think it's only. I think that's their first mound visit.
And Cooper was out last night.
Right.
That has limited some of the extra trips out there, the new rule.
You like it?
Unless you're in a playoff game, I think you should have all the time you want, because you can't hear.
John Hicks, 1 for 2. Might need to find a gap to get Victor Martinez home.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Victor's not fleet of foot anymore.
No. Fouled the other way. And Goodrum's got to be careful too, because he's got good speed, and we noted that in the first inning with his first career triple. Can't run up the back of Victor Martinez.
He's got to read Victor. I think with Victor, Clarkie will send him early or shut him down early.
Hicks down the right field line. Long run for Polka. Did not make the catch.
You know, Victor's really working out there to get a big secondary lead. He's going to try and score.
Remember, that's the same area where Nick Castellanos made a nice grab last night.
Went into the stands, spilled a refreshment, gave a high five for it. Polka unable to get the make the catch. probably going to go up top here. He's 0-2. Big blow if you could get a 3-run bomb right here.
Be beautiful, wouldn't it? Really help you and pick the stick too.
That would be good.
I'm running away with it right now.
Yeah, you got some juice.
Well, Candelario's got the juice. I just got the right guy.
You made the pick.
Yeah.
Mario must have handed that horseshoe off to you.
Yeah, well, he did dial me from the altar, you know, in his tuxedo.
Told you who to pick?
Yeah, he just texted me, that's all. Didn't call me, texted me. DO2. Yeah, you're right, Gibby. Climbed the ladder, but way too high.
He may double it. Then come with the breaking pitch or the changeup.
Why would you double it here? I would guess that I'd be looking off speed if I'm Hicks.
Yeah, well, I'd double it here just so he would.
Off speed, and he got him.
You're right.
Struck out the side, sandwiched around a single and a walk. Tigers leave 2. We remain tied.
This about the 2018 Tigers. They're good for ratings.
They play a lot of close games, and they're locked in another one here today. One thing for the Tigers pitchers, if Abreu comes back up, you must stay away from him. But, John, we know this team. They play often, they play hard, and they never quit in games.
Tigers held Abreu to 1 for 13 when we saw them on the south side of Chicago in April. Look, a few degrees of Fahrenheit for the Cuban to warm right up.
Well, he's way too good. I mean, we're talking about a guy in 4 consecutive years, each 25 home runs, at least 100 RBIs. Only a handful of guys have been able to do that. He's a serious run producer.
He owns Detroit. I mean, he owns Detroit like Bedrock and the Quicken Loans and everybody else lately.
And you.
Yeah.
And you, Keats.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's batting going into the game today, batting .334 against Detroit in his career. Palka, Moncada, and Engel. Rod Allen, stick around for us. What do you think of Francisco Liriano his afternoon?
Well, I like what he's been able to do. I mean, he's a veteran out there, Shep. This guy really knows how to pitch. He knows how to miss bats. He knows how to create soft contact. And he's done a lot of that. Unfortunately for him, the Anderson kid caught him with a fastball, and Abreu also got him the opposite way. But by and large, he's pitched a very Francisco Liriano type game here today.
And it's been 2 guys who have really hurt Detroit the last couple of days. It's Anderson and it's Abreu.
You know, Rod, we talked about it in our open yesterday about Abreu. You got to pitch around him. And here you got him in his last at bat. You got a 1-2 count, and you throw the ball off the plate, and he goes yard on you. Do you think?
Look out! Castellano watches it fly away, and the White Sox have their first lead on Daniel Palka's 4th homer of the year.
Got a fastball there. Looked like he was waiting on something. Maybe a hanging breakaway. That ball really got out of here a long way. It's a moonshot. Just out over the plate. Didn't do much.
And looked like a slider that didn't do a whole lot, guys. And really, that has not been often that he has missed with his slider against left-handers. In his last outing, as a matter of fact, against Seattle, left-handers were 0 for 14 against that slider. So just looked like he left one up over the plate, and Polka was able to get to it.
Guys, Francisco Liriano coming into the game had allowed just 5 homers on the year. He's allowed 3 in this game alone. Moncada goes the other way, foul.
You got some action. Lewis Coleman is now up in the Tigers' pen. I don't know. Yeah, you got to think about it here. He's at 89 pitches. His last 3 hits have been home runs. So he's your veteran guy. You want to stick with him, but you're going to have to give him some relief here if he doesn't stop the bleeding.
Yeah, you got to think of the game right now. And when you look at the ball strike ratio, it's not great for Liriano like it was in the first couple of innings. Tapper to third and under the glove of Candelario. 6th hit of the day for the White Sox.
Here he comes.
And Ron Gardenhire makes a quick move too. He knows exactly what's wrong. He knows Francisco Liriano as well as anybody. And the Tigers make a move trying to stop the Chicago offense that has suddenly come alive. White Sox lead at 4-3. We'll look at Lewis Coleman and what makes him so good, and a really good story too after this.
Afternoon in Minnesota. He came on and got a pop-up in 1/2 inning. That would be the 6th. He bailed out Michael Foreman. Then he came back and got some huge outs, couple of strikeouts, and another lazy pop-outs. An inning and a third for the veteran right-hander who seemed to stabilize that 7th inning for Ron Gardenhire these days, Kirk.
And you see it, Lewis Coleman coming in his 6th game. Does have the hold you talked about. Is not giving up a run. Opponents hitting 143 against him.
The 143, the lowest batting average against on anybody on this Tigers staff, even though it's just his 6th appearance.
Got kind of a funky delivery. You can see right there. He drops down. And this guy has been on the Dodgers. He pitched some big games. Just a good pickup, and has worked his way out of the minor leagues. And he's here, and Tigers are looking for people to fill the gap between the end of their closer and their setup man.
Engel scalds one to left, a base hit. Moncada trots to second. Chicago still with nobody down, continues to threaten.
If you may remember, guys, Coleman spent about 4 years with the Kansas City Royals from about 2011 to about 2015. And he was one guy that was pitching in that bullpen that you didn't hear a lot about, but he was getting some real big outs, turning the ball over to the guys in the back end of that bullpen in Kansas City.
Yeah, we heard about Davis and Herrera and Holland, and for good reason, but Coleman did a lot of that dirty work, if you will.
And he throws that sinker ball and that slider at the bottom of the strike zone. He needs a ground ball right here.
Sure does. 7 scoreless innings since being called up from AAA Toledo a couple of weeks ago.
Looks like they're expecting a bunt here.
Don't get it.
Corners are in. Hicks and Candelaria. They're in. They're not convinced yet. They backed off a step or two.
Chicago 4th in the league in sacrifices. In at the corners. 1-1 to Trace Thompson, who went 1 for 4 last night and is 0 for 2 today.
Tell you, if you're a hitter today, you could really lay out and try and get ahead in the count, because Chris Guccione, behind the plate, he is very tight. As we said, called the least amount of strikes for any umpire in the league.
Love a ground ball to third here, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Instead of pop up, he'll take it. Infield fly rule.
Take the ground ball here and get out of it.
There you go.
Cleaned it up quick.
Alfredo Gonzalez, a strikeout victim twice so far here today. And it's kind of a strange scorecard for Francisco Liriano, just from the standpoint that he has a season high 8 strikeouts, but has allowed a season best 3 homers in a game, all 3 homers on 2 strikes, and all 3 homers on fastballs, guys. Why is Coleman's delivery so troubling for batters, do you think, guys?
Well, I would say on the right-handers, you look, he's letting the ball go behind the right-hander's body. You watch his delivery here, it drops down. Got good cut on it. It's a little slider right there, and he's got some sink.
Tough not to give up on it, isn't it, Rod?
It really is, and I think if you look at some of your better teams in baseball, they've got a guy like Coleman in their bullpen. It's almost like most bullpens now. If you're a contending team, you've got this guy that can change with his arm slot and give you a different look as far as a right-hander is concerned. Give Coleman some credit, though. I mean, this guy, he used to be conventional, but wasn't getting a whole lot of outs with 92, 93. Most guys throw at that velocity these days, so he dropped down to that sidearm angle. He gets some tilt. He also has a nice little sink piece. And what I also like about him, Gibby, he'll change your eye level. He'll go upstairs with a fastball every now and then.
They say it's easier on a pitcher's arm when you drop down like that.
Well, Ron Gardenhire really appreciates it because he's a fighter. You know, I mean, he said the other day, look, this is his 3rd chance. He's earned it, though. We don't bring him up because he's just a veteran. Bring him up because he's got good stuff. He gets outs. And I'm not afraid to use him.
And don't forget for one moment that while Ron Gardenhire was managing the Minnesota Twins teams, Coleman was trotting out of the bullpen on many nights against his Twinkies team. So he knows him.
Good point. It's a big hitter here, fellas, because Tim Anderson's on deck. You'd love to get Gonzalez to bounce into that double play to give you Anderson to lead off the next inning rather than come to the plate with runners in scoring position.
Tigers trail by 1. 3 home runs, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. 4-3.
Didn't go.
White Sox putting together some pretty good at-bats here in the last couple innings. Laid off that, he's seen a couple of them.
Each team with 7 hits.
Coleman has good movement, as Rod says. He's got that nice sink piece, but it's tough to control.
to center. Goodrum out. Makes the grab, 2 down. MLB at Bat is your #1 Detroit Tigers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Detroit Tigers home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Yeah, Tim Anderson hit a home run last night, and tonight has a walk also, but he's hitting .304 off lefties. Not so good against righties, so we hope that Coleman has the advantage.
And not good in runners in scoring position. Of course, Chicago is a team 13th in the American League, 24th in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, only .228.
But he's been a pain in the neck in the first 2 games. Chicago today 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position, while Detroit is 0 for 5. Big statistic right there. There it is. Last 23 games, a little bit better than that number. Backhand stab by McCann.
Anderson really starting to mature as a player, guys. He's been in the big leagues now for about 4 years. He's walked 16 times this year, which is already a career high in walks, and we haven't even approached June yet. So obviously 15, 16, not that many, but he's starting to improve. And he used to be able to just throw breaking balls up there and he would swing. He has more of an idea these days, and he's got lightning quick hands. We saw that on the 92-mile-per-hour fastball he turned on his last time up.
Tied a season high with 3 hits last night. Look out. Deep, and he did it again.
And those are those lightning quick hands I was just speaking of.
I think that was a slider. He went out and got it.
Four runs so far here in the 6th, and the Tigers are getting beaten up because of the long ball by Chicago today.
Well, just talked about the fact that this guy's starting to mature. He's starting to be a little bit more patient. He worked himself into a real nice count and got that hanging breaking ball, didn't miss it.
Moncada with a grounder to second, but the damage is done by Chicago. 7-3, White Sox in front, flexing their muscles here at Comerica Park. Thank you, Rod Allen. We'll see you on Tigers Live postgame.
Summary, a lot of home runs today. Jamer Candelaria has a multi-hit home run game, his first. It looked like he was putting the Sox back. Tim Anderson, though, he hit one last night, and he's hit one again. Jose Abreu goes right field. And the White Sox are just Tim Anderson again with the hanger there in the last inning. 2 men on, 2 men out. And he's put the White Sox ahead 7-3 here as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
4 homers on the afternoon for Chicago. They welcoming Chris Volstad, the former first-round pick, 16th overall by the Florida Marlins.
He's tall too, isn't he? Like 6'9" or something like that. He's big, tall man, right-handed pitcher. Leads the White Sox. 20 2/3 innings pitched this season. He's gone as many as 4 innings. He's a former starter. Likes that over-the-top fastball, and it's going to be sneaky because he's going to get on top of you. He's a big man. He's going to let go closer to the home plate.
Facing McCann, Iglesias, and Victor Reyes, the scheduled hitters. Third time this year, by the way, Chicago has hit 4 homers or more in a game. They hit 6 on opening day against Kansas City.
Well, we need to stop him at 4.
Tigers need some base runners. White Sox playing him to pull. Outfield just about straight up against James McCann. 0 for 2 today. 2-2. Fouled away. Volstad was the Marlins Rookie of the Year in 2008.
A lot of fastballs, almost 68%, 91, 92 miles an hour. Throws the curveball and the change.
McCann hanging in there.
This is really hard right now. The Tigers, we talk about how they've got no give. We're going to be tested today. That was tough. Tigers give up 2 in the 5th and 4 in the 6th after staking themselves to a 3-0 lead.
What about the shadows this time of day, Gibby?
Yeah, that you can see them coming in right there. You like to be, say, light to light or dark to dark. You don't want it to be coming out of a shadow into the light, but not too bad yet. We really get into those stadiums where the whole say half of the infield is dark, or the backdrop is a different color. That's the big green thing out in center field of every major league ballpark. You can see that's the batter's eye there. I can't tell straight. We don't have one today, but if you watch this right now, it'll look a little bit like a strobe light.
Right. Good at bat by McCann to make Volstad work. You see home plate almost completely covered in shadows.
Yeah, we're going to dig in here a little tighter and you'll be able to take a look.
This one right back up the box. First hit of the day for James McCann. And he's hit safely now in 24 of his last 32. Good way to start the 6th. Always good to pick it up with Johnny Kane. Johnny?
Hey, Chef, how about this? The Bennett family traveled all the way from Southern California. We've got son Michael, dad Fred, mom Joyce over here. They've just completed, today, they've completed the MLB Stadium tour. I got to ask you, Michael, give me your top 3 stadiums.
It's got to be AT Park up in San Francisco, PNC out in Pittsburgh, and Comerica Park making a strong running for 3rd.
Oh. All right, then. All right, you're not just saying that. He's got the White Sox gear on today, but that's because you have a little bit of a relationship with Danny Farquhar.
Yes, that's right. I work out at the same gym he does in the off-season. I've caught a couple bullpens for him. I was hoping to be out here, but of course, with the tragedy, but he's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Hoping for a speedy recovery.
Absolutely, and of course, you'll be heading off to college next year. You're going to be playing some college ball. Dad, when did this journey begin?
Well, Michael always enjoyed baseball, and about 2013, we were up in Cooperstown playing ball, and we did all the East Coast stadiums, and we just loved it. We did 6 stadiums in about a 3-week period. So we came down the East Coast, and of course, living on the West Coast, we did the West Coast stadiums, and he just started thinking about it, and we just started saying this is what we want to do, and he wanted it, so we're here.
We're here. Well, congratulations, guys. Of course, White Sox just turned 2. I'll send it back upstairs, but good for the Bennett family for completing the stadium tour.
Yeah, Johnny, that's pretty cool. And you do a lot of stuff with your father. I don't know if you've ever gone on those types of trips. Give me your top 3 ballparks.
Well, I'd like to get him. I need to get him back up here to a Tigers game.
Yeah, but give me your 3. Give me your 3. Go.
Top 3 parks. Yeah. I'll throw PNC in there as well.
Right.
I'll throw Kauffman Stadium, Wrigley.
Well, Kauffman Stadium, that's a homer pick.
Hey, you like playing there?
I love that stadium. I think it's underrated.
I think it's underrated.
Yeah,
and of course, I did spend a lot of years there, so I've seen more games there.
I think I might put Camden in there.
Camden wouldn't put high up there for sure.
I'd put Fenway Park.
Yeah, I would say Fenway over Wrigley.
PNC, or not PNC, AT&T.
AT&T,
it has an unbelievable environment out there.
Tigers,
in my opinion,
by the way, Tigers are challenging this double play. I would argue this, and Johnny's going to get mad at me, but that's okay. It won't be the first time.
Yeah, it's going to be something about.
Well,
go ahead.
I think Wrigley's overrated.
Well,
okay, I like Wrigleyville, but I think Wrigley Field itself is overrated.
So I disagree. Now, that's a park. My mom grew up outside of Chicago, so I went to that park a bunch of times as a kid. Still like to go back. My sister lives there. To me, when you first walk into a major league stadium, so maybe I'm biased because maybe for you it's Tiger Stadium.
It was.
When you first see it, right?
Yeah.
That place will always hold a special place. So for me,
fair enough.
That's why I keep Wrigley up there. Fenway certainly is there.
Yeah.
And if you talk about old stadiums, Tiger Stadium, a guy asked me last night, he said, if you really think about it, Fenway, Wrigley, some of the greats, the original Yankee Stadium, he said, where do you feel Tiger Stadium fits in there? I said, absolutely,
right
it's
in
in
there.
the discussion.
You know what? You'll get me getting really emotional about Tiger Stadium because I don't think anything compares to that. I know the amenities weren't all that, but as soon as you walked into Tiger Stadium, you knew you were in a ballpark. There's no place better, no place I would have rather been than Tiger Stadium.
What's your number 3?
Well, I would. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Fenway is in there. Yeah, Fenway's pretty
Fenway, AT&T. He's out.
Pretty close. Tough to overturn that right there. It was really tight.
Kind of wanted like
worth
the deal
the challenge.
Home plate last night.
Yeah. Another look at it right here. The question is, Abreu's toe on the bag? It is, and it's tough to see whether James McCann's hand is in there just yet because of the dust up from the dirt. But it's a good enough challenge, and I think it's the right call. 2 down here for the Tigers in the 6th. Victor Reyes singled and stole a bag in the 2nd. Fourth hit of the year for Victor Reyes, getting the start in left field today. Right down the middle.
Boy, this game turned quick.
Sure did. Tapper to third. Nice barehand play by Sanchez. Well done by the Chicago third baseman. 4-run lead for the visitors. Top of the 7th, Jose Abreu leads things off for the White Sox. The one guy the Tigers can't wait to see get out of town, but the guy Chicago fans can't wait to see step into the box. On base all 3 times today, and a 2-for-2 effort, including his 9th homer of the year in the 5th. And now those are updated statistics against the Tigers, and you can see why he hustles to the right-handed batter's box to face Artie Lewicki.
When we faced him in Chicago and swept them, he was not swinging the bat well at all. But what you're
Something
seeing,
changed.
Yeah, what you're seeing now when you see him hit an opposite field home run, I think that's significant to anybody, because usually home runs are to the pull side, but any player would want to be able to stay behind the ball and hit it out of the opposite way. And he's on fire, and that ball that he hit out was off the plate 2 or 3 inches. He still powered it out of the stadium.
So the wall side windows pitching change, focusing on Artie Lewicki, the 25-year-old former 8th-round pick of the Tigers in 2014. Last year, his 14 wins between Erie and Toledo ranked 7th among all minor league pitchers.
He was recalled on May 16th. He threw 4 shutout innings in Cleveland.
Played his college baseball at Virginia. Always a good program there. And the opposite way for Abreu, making a bid for another double. His 2nd of the game. And he continues to be a thorn in the Tigers pitching staff side.
He's hitting everything now.
Sure is. Hey, don't miss Call to the Hall tomorrow on Fox Sports Detroit as we celebrate the careers and Hall of Fame selections of 2 very worthy candidates, Alan Trammell and Jack Morris. Catch Call to the Hall following Tigers Live postgame Sunday evening on Fox Sports Detroit. Really cool show, by the way.
Yeah, it was. It was Jack and Tram going in together. End of July. Hopefully a lot of his ex-teammates will be there and some of the Tiger fans.
Some emotion from Jack Morris.
Yeah,
at the podium when he put on that Hall of Fame jersey.
Yeah, Al Kaline he smiled a little bit. He said he thinks Tram will do good. He's fairly stoic, but he thought Jack might have a little tougher time, and that's okay.
Sometimes that's what happens with those tough guys, and he was a tough guy. He was a fiery competitor. Trammell was too, but in a different way. So Morris and you might have had similar attitudes. Right?
I'm not sure that was a compliment.
Oh, it is. Absolutely is.
So where would you be on that?
Closer to Trammell or you?
Yeah.
I would be closer to you, Gibby.
How about Jack? So that'd be Jack included. So
yeah, I probably would have treated the media a little nicer than you 2 guys, but yeah.
Well, that was a mistake. But I've seen you in action too, so I. Well, I'm just saying. So, guys like Jack and me and you.
I think you have to have guys like that on your team.
Yeah, but certain things that happen, you find yourself not as tough as maybe you portray sometimes. Is that true?
No.
No, ever? You wouldn't admit it.
No, I don't think so. I think you and Jack were all that and then some. Well, we know the stories, Gibby.
Well, they're some of them are fabricated.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. There's certain guys you look at and you go, I'm not messing with that dude. You know, when you were a kid, you didn't want to mess with wrestlers, right? If you got into a barroom brawl, don't mess with wrestlers. Somebody like you in your heyday, I don't want to see you in the middle of the diamond when the dugout's empty.
No, I wasn't looking to do damage there.
Artie Lewicki does some damage to Jose Rondon for the first out of the game, or of the 7th, rather.
There you can see the grip. Nice lively fastball up and away.
Daniel Palka went yard back in the 6th.
He likes the heater, doesn't he?
Does. Four homers for the White Sox in this ballgame. 3rd time they've done that this year. Wide of second. Will Abreu try and test Castellanos? He will. And it'll be the 8th run of the day for Chicago. Palka comes through with his 2nd RBI of the day.
Yeah, he struggled last night with the off-speed offerings, but he's swinging for the fastball. This ball got through the infield quickly. Nico had no chance at it. Nick had no chance, and Abreu scores another for the Chicago White Sox. 8-3.
Surprising for Chicago, just because on the road in their last 8 games, they were hitting .219 and averaging 2.5 runs per game. They're going to see if Abreu hit the inside of the bag. He did.
Well, let's take a look. And if you watch umpires when plays go on, many of them, not all of them, but they'll watch, make sure you cut it. You definitely got it. The bag moved. And that's the correct call.
Johan Moncada swings at the first pitch, skies it to center. Jones has a beat on it. 2 down. I was saying about the Chicago offense, just 2.5 runs per game over the last 8 road games. So to explode a little bit, and keep this in mind, coming into the game today, they had lost 9 of their last 10 on the road and been outscored 2-1.
And the Tigers have been good at home. But it's not over yet.
Well, not with this Tigers team. They find a way to dig deep and stay in there. Adam Engel, who singled and scored back in the 6th, is riding a 2-for-3 day. Rick Renteria for the White Sox. Just 7 road kills on the year. 2nd worst in the majors.
White Sox have the worst record in the major leagues right now, but you can never take a team lightly. They've been competitive.
Not when you've got Abreu and Anderson in that lineup, that's for sure. They are difference makers. A little pop up on the infield or just on the shallow part of the outfield grass, and Goodrum puts it away. Tigers need some base runners. They need some runs. Coming up is the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. And Jamer Candelario. Moncada, and there's 1 pitch and 1 down.
Let's take a look at our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Hector Santiago started off. Tigers clipped him for 3 runs in the first 3 innings, but he really established the high fastball. This is what he's known for. Got the Tigers to start missing this pitch. Started getting ahead in the count. There, Jacoby goes down. And you might say, why did he swing it? That pitch is way out of the way. But the way his arm slot is, it just runs up there. There you see his numbers: 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 strikeouts. 3 of those strikeouts came in his last inning.
Castellanos takes a first pitch strike. What's surprising about Castellanos today is he hasn't swung at the first pitch. And yet, on the season, swings at the first pitch 51.3% of the time. That's second highest in the baseball, or in all of baseball. Javi Baez of the Cubs has done it just a little bit more, just under 52%.
Well, they've done a good job. Nick's kind of carried the Tigers. He certainly did last night, and they've shut him down. So it's put the onus on the rest of the team. And Chicago swung the bats well today. A lot of pitchers use that high fastball right there. There's White Sox trying to induce Nick to get after it. Justin Verlander perfected that while he was here in Detroit. And it's just the way it comes out. It doesn't look that high. You have like less than a blink of an eye to make your decision. Are you going to swing? By the time you make that decision, you can't hold it up. Think about that, Shep. Pretty quick decision, isn't it?
Absolutely. One that I'm incapable of doing. And most people are.
But some days you're better than others. Just
well, that's life. That's every profession, don't you think?
Yep.
Very difficult test, night in and night out. Castellanos has worked the count even. He's 0 for 3 today.
Bolstead turned that one over, so he went with the 4-seamers earlier. Looked like a little 2-seamer right there.
Hammered to left, but foul. Castellanos was the first pick in Ram Pick the Stick. And Simo hasn't got anything yet. Double digits for yours truly. Feels so good.
Well, Johnny Kane's doing okay. Who's down there at the end?
Is he? Yeah, he's got
a little
4.
foggy.
Yeah, that triple by Nico Goodrum helped. Candelario waits on deck. 2 homers. First career 2-homer day.
3-homer would be even better.
It sure would. Be even better if Castellanos could get on for him to do that. Way to hold on for Alfredo Gonzalez to notch the second strikeout of Nick Castellanos today.
Looked like he put a wrinkle in that one. Nick had a good aggressive swing, but couldn't get a piece.
2 down for Candelario, who had the game-winning RBI last night and has reached base safely in 20 consecutive games, and over that period of time is hitting well over 280.
Yeah,
and has 3 homers.
He's been very good since coming to the Tigers.
Skies one to left. Thompson hustling over. And an easy inning for Chris Volstead and the White Sox. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. indications of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Milliken State Park. Gibby, you got your boat there? Is that where you're tied up? No?
No comment.
One of your 2 boats?
They're around.
Keating's boat is there.
Well, Keating, he's got a yacht. And he's got a big boy.
That's true.
It's like a palace on the water.
Yeah, that Jimmy John's boat, that Jimmy John's yacht has nothing on John Keating's. Nothing. Of course, I haven't been out on that yet. Artie Lewicki works here in the 8th. Tigers have gone through Liriano, Coleman, and now Lewicki. Chicago has 4 homers in this ballgame. 3 came on fastballs and 3 on 2-strike pitches. Trace Thompson, Alfredo Gonzalez, and Tim Anderson due up for the Visitors, who have lost 10 of their last 14 within the division.
A good opportunity for the Artie Lewicki. Some of the other relievers down in the Tigers bullpen. You know, we were talking earlier about Greeny coming in or Joe Jimenez coming in. Lewis Coleman got his chance, but you know, there's always somebody watching you, always a chance to make an impression. Tigers are looking for solidifying that bullpen. And there's one thing about throwing in games that are somewhat out of reach or not, you know, a tie game or a high leverage situation. They perform well in those situations, and others have a trouble when it's on the line, so to say. So it's a good time to get it together.
Thompson on for the first time today. I'm going to bring up Alfredo Gonzalez. We mentioned Lewicki, who played at Virginia in 2014. He helped the Cavaliers to the College World Series. Did not ask him about the struggles of Tony Bennett's team in the NCAA tournament.
I don't get it.
And they're the first 1 seed to ever lose.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maryland, Baltimore County beat them. They were the 1 overall seed.
That just happened in basketball this year, number 1 seed.
That's correct. That's it.
I mean, that just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. First time ever. Gonzalez 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts swinging. His first 2 at-bats.
Good guy to get a double play ball on. You know who's on deck.
At the top of the order.
Tim Anderson.
Gonzalez in his debut, major league debut. Popped foul, and it's now 1-2. Struck him out for the 3rd time today.
Let's take a look at big boys, big play of the game. Tim Anderson, he's been murderous on the Tigers. In the 5th inning, went deep off of Francisco Liriano. Then again in the 6th. Lewis Coleman, he hung a slider. That's a 3-run home run right there. So what has he got, 4 or 5 RBI today? 4 RBI on the day, 2 for 3 and 3 runs scored. So going to take some good pitching to get him out.
Well, he and Abreu combined 5 for 6, 3 homers. They've scored 4 runs, got a couple of doubles,
5 runs,
and 6 runs driven in. Correct, 5 runs.
That's 2 of the top 3 in the order. You know, it's amazing, why do people struggle? He was struggling coming in. Why did he struggle? And all of a sudden,
in the series.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, coming into the series.
All of a sudden, you find it.
Yeah, he goes 3 for 4 last night. He's 2 for 3 here today.
And you just get that feel. A lot of it's confidence. You're a lot calmer in your lower half. You're not jumping at the ball.
6 RBIs in the 2 games thus far. Attempted foul. He has had a 3 career multi-homer game. His 4 RBIs are a career high.
It just, I can tell you, I played a lot of games. It just doesn't happen. Hit a couple in a game, or 3 even more. What Larry Herndon hit, what, in consecutive bats, he had like 5 or 6 home runs back in the day.
Wow.
Blew him away.
They finally retire Tim Anderson. Yolmer Sanchez will stand in.
Got to get this last out here, get out of the inning. The Tigers down to their last 6 outs. Challenged with more than normal here to come back in this game. They've shown they can do it. This is when you start begging for a long extra inning game, Shep. Do you ever believe in that?
I do. And I'm hoping for it too.
Locked in for 20?
Why not? As long as the outcome is the way I want it. 3 strikeouts for Sanchez.
I'm not talking about a 10-inning game. I'm talking about a 20 and a win. You were saying how good of a spot it was today. The weather's good. Great,
perfect.
Great day for a ball game. So
perfect.
Let's get it on.
Open up the beer sales and let them keep piling into the ballpark. Right.
They might have to shut that down for a couple innings if it's 20.
You're right. Good wasteful pitch there by Lewicki. To Goodrum, the easy way. Tigers bat in the 8th. Victor Martinez will be in charge of getting things started. Steered the ship for Chicago on the comeback. This is what he's done so far today. The 4 RBIs a career high. Jose Abreu has been a pain in Detroit's side all season, really for his entire career. He's been perfect today, and Jeimer Candelario with his first ever 2-homer game. The Tigers pitching staff has 11 strikeouts. It's the 15th time this year they've had 10 Ks or more in a game. But Chicago has got some timely hitting, and they have a comfortable lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Wallside windows, new pitching change here for Chicago. Luis Avalon, Gibby, what can you tell us about this right-hander?
Last pitched on the 24th in Baltimore. Is retired his last 7 batters he's faced. He's feeling good about himself. 2.89 ERA over his last 12. There you can see it's in his 21st game on the year.
Southpaw to face Martinez, Goodrum, and Hicks. Third pitcher for the White Sox today. Soft stuff caught the corner. Martinez singled and was left stranded at second in the 5th. 1 for 3 so far today. One and one. Hammered to left. Second straight hit for Martinez. And a good way to kickstart the 8th. Probably expect a pinch runner here. Pete Kozma hustling out. Let's hustle down to Johnny Kane. Johnny?
Yeah, good knock there from V-Mart as Nico Goodrum comes to the plate. I had a chance to talk with Nico before the game, how he tries to process the early season success he's having here in his rookie campaign. He says, it's easy for me because I never get ahead of myself. I know I can be a lot better. He says he never is complacent because he knows he has so much to learn, so much more still to grow. I said, what's the biggest lesson you've learned here through the first couple months of your rookie year? And he said, be ready. Got to be ready to contribute when called upon. And again, he's getting the nod at second base again today with Dixon Machado still working on that revamped swing. So Nico Goodrum put good use to it so far.
Yeah, Johnny, don't you think the best players in any sport are always looking to get better and learning from different people? And Goodrum can do that, and he's got a wealth of knowledge in that clubhouse from which to choose.
Yeah, well, it works in any profession, to be honest with you. I mean, all these guys trying to get better every day, but as a rookie in this game, you're in your mid-20s. Certainly, you try to absorb from some of the veteran guys on this club, but you need opportunities, you need reps, and right now Nico's making the most of them.
Kozma, the pinch runner.
Don't want to get doubled off.
Fouled away by Goodrum.
Talking about Luis Avalon, how's he do it? Doesn't throw that many fastballs, only 36%. Lots of changeups.
Yeah, won't overpower you, will he?
No, well, his changeup's his big pitch. Almost 48% changeups. That's coming in at 82. His fastball looks sneaky at 92 when you start looking for that. Does throw a curveball as well.
One pitch. Wide of third and through the hole for a base hit. Second hit of the day for Nico Goodrum.
Just a little bit here, a little bit there. It's when Tigers get a break on. He pulls it in the hole. They get the job done, just out of reach. Tim Anderson can't come up with it.
And good speed for the Tigers on the base paths for John Hicks.
You know, when Lewis Coleman came in, he got a ground ball, found a hole as well. I mean, that's not a bad pitch. Unfortunately, the next batter got a home run, but just kind of shows you this game. Sometimes you do your job, you don't get rewarded, but
crowd providing the inspiration.
So 3-1 Jack right here would be good, huh?
Sure would. Some action in the Chicago bullpen. They don't want this one to get away from them. Saw what happened last night.
Nate Jones, Kozma, and Goodrum on the bases. going to see some changeups. He's been seeing them all day.
1-1.
I think that's the third time they went fastball changeup to Hicksy. There you see the changeup grip. It goes straight down. This is his guy pitch. This is his out pitch. Guy some might consider moving closer to the mound as it disappears. It's got great arm motion on it. Even though you're looking for it, it's hard to stay off it.
It's got good movement on that pitch. Here's the 1-1. Hammered. Foul. Hicks out in front. What do you do? I mean, you said move up in the box a little bit. Does that mean you sit dead red for the fastball just in case, or are you anticipating? You're anticipating the changeup because you feel like you can catch up to the fastball. It's not overpowered.
Well, you know he's going to throw 50% of them, and
okay.
John they've featured a lot of changeups to him, so I personally would sell out, but you know, everybody does it differently. You got to try and find a way to delay yourself from swinging.
Tapper to short. Could be 2. Not in time.
Good job by Nico down there. Really hustled. Got a piece of Anderson. That was not Anderson. That was Mancata at second base. A lot of guys just pull up. Not Nico. Going right in there.
Clean. Hard slide.
Right into him, straight to the bag. Didn't let him step across, and that allows Hicksy to beat it out. Now we get a home run here. You'll see why that makes a difference.
James McCann called on to deliver such. You would think as Mancata gets older, he'll learn to do something different at second base, come across or tap step it like Lou Whitaker used to once in a while.
Well, Lou could go
either
all
way.
4 ways.
Yeah, because he had such a strong arm.
Could go back, away from first, across the bag, or towards first. You never knew. When before the rule came into effect, you'd study where guys would go. Some guys are very predictable. They go 1 of 2 places. But now with the rule, you pretty much know that you're limited to go straight into the bag only. And the fielders can be pretty elusive just with that very little leeway to go after him. You like that rule?
I don't. You? Skied, shallow center. Mancata takes charge. Yeah, he and Anderson. Usually that's either the shortstop or the center fielder's ball. Mancata took control.
It looks like Tim Anderson thought he was going to have it at first, but Mancata made the call, called him off. Tim Anderson, boy, he's a good-looking player, I tell you. That's going to be it.
Pitching change for the White Sox. Tigers trying to cash in with runners at the corners and 2 down. Tigers coming in had the opportunity to get a Al Kaline bobblehead.
Wonder how many of those he's got. Quite a few. Got a new pitcher for the White Sox. Nate Jones. 20th game, 2-1. 22 strikeouts, 8 Ks. 8 walks, I'm sorry. He hasn't thrown since 22nd versus Baltimore. It's 4 for 6 in save opportunities.
Last year, Jones limited to 11 games before undergoing season-ending surgery in July. Had some problems with the nerve, an ulnar nerve in his right arm. But 2 years ago, he led American League relievers in holds with 28.
Did they just move the nerve? Was that they had that surgery?
I don't know what they do with it. This is probably why Rick Renteria went to Nate Jones. At least part of it. Iglesias 0 for 5 in his career against him.
He's got good velo. That one came in at 97.
It's a different motion, isn't it? Kind of holds it high for a moment, almost like a football quarterback.
Yeah, it has a little delay. Fastball sliders pretty much. Seldom does he throw a change. Certainly he's not going to do that to Iglesias. Takes it right out of the glove. Doesn't, not like an Iron Mike. Watch, he takes that hand right out of the glove, comes straight up with it. That's a strong arm and a strong shoulder to throw like that. Most pitchers take it back first, get behind it, and thrust it towards home plate.
Also has almost a double clutch at the top of the delivery.
Yeah, some pitchers you just have to find a way to sync yourself up with the motion. This would definitely be one of those pitchers. Because he's at a full stop, he puts the hand out of his glove up and then he just fires it.
Iglesias a double in 3 trips. Granted time twice in a row now. Walked it.
Getting interesting.
Sure is.
Gonna have a pinch hitter here. Leonis. Good play, Guardy's thinking.
Leonis Martin.
Now why does he pick him over Victor? Just he's had more playing time, knows the pitcher on the mound better, and just feels it's a better at bat to keep the line rolling.
And of course the success he had last night a little bit weighs
yeah.
into it, right?
Who's got him? Pick the stick.
Nobody.
I know.
Just the second time Martinez ever faced sliced foul.
Got a day off. Guardy wanted to give Leonis a day off because he came off the disabled list with a bad hamstring. He did a lot of running last night. In fact, he scored from first to home.
And didn't fight Gardenhire, and that'll tell you something considering the way Martin, I misspoke, Martin 0 for 5 in his career against Nate Jones with a couple of strikeouts. The 1-1 pitch.
Here's that slider. So he gets the fastballs a little late. There you see the grip of the slider. Ball goes straight down.
With a pitcher who throws like that, should the hitter be able to pick the ball up a little bit sooner? Are you surprised by that?
Yeah, but he's the way he stops it, he's got such electric stuff.
Scalded to second. The Moncada is there, and the White Sox avoid any damage.
Not fair there.
Head to the 9th. Detroit in a 5-run hole.
From here at the Coliseum studio. Coming up on Tigers Live, we will update the results from today's Ram Pick the Stick competition.
Oh, no.
And we're sitting down here, and we're killing Matt Shepard for his level of success or his level of luck in his first 2 days this weekend.
He said Mario texted him what to pick, though. Is that what he said?
Do we believe that?
Do you believe everything you hear?
Mario put down the entirety of the wedding for his son to get involved with Ram Pick the Stick. But congratulations, Shep, and we mean that really from the bottom of our hearts.
I can't believe you said it's luck. I always give you guys credit. Always.
I wouldn't say always.
Okay, you're right. Again, you don't believe everything you hear. Martin stays in the game and will roam center. Jacoby Jones shifts from center to left.
So I guess the only people who get to share their picks together and add them together are the play-by-plays, right?
Well, did you watch Tigers live postgame last night and hear what Keating said about the booth? That we were in cahoots. That's why we won.
Oh, we were?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know if
Mario and Rod win, it's intelligence, it's research. You and I win,
it's luck.
It's luck. Rod gets sour quickly.
I would take the luck, the luck option.
Sure.
I mean, some good things happen with luck. So
just give me the crown, even if it's for the day. I'll take it.
Artie Lewicki out there again, throwing a good game so far for the Tigers in his 3rd inning.
Abreu was the first batter he faced, and he doubled and scored back in the 7th.
Then he settled down.
Abreu with a couple of doubles and a solo homer, his 9th of the year. He and Tim Anderson have both homered tonight. Both share the Chicago team lead with 9. Grounded through the hole, and the perfect night continues for Jose Abreu. Here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Window. James Shields, Blaine Hardy squaring off tomorrow. Shields does not get a lot of run support.
He's a much different pitcher. He used to throw much harder. Now he's much more into the secondary pitches and location. Does still have that heavy sinker. And Blaine Hardy, this guy, the guy who was in the bullpen last year, now he's starting. He'll do it all. He's kind of like Alex Wilson to an extent. Just he'll come out and close if you have to do it. He'll give you a spot start. Now he's in the rotation. So good opportunity for him, as we were talking about opportunities that are waiting. Any of these young Tigers, and Blaine will get one tomorrow.
Learning a little something here tonight, no doubt.
We'll be on at 1 o'clock, pregame at noon.
Chicago with 12 hits today. They have 10 or more in 5 of the last 6 games.
They were very quiet in the first 4 innings, but the 5th they came out strong. A couple of home runs.
The undoing of Francisco Liriano.
You always try to figure out why things happen before they happen. And Francisco, what, he went 8 innings in his last start.
Right. 8 innings with and took a no-hitter into the 7th against Seattle.
So you got to ask yourself, did he tire?
Former Tiger Joaquim Soria with a swig of water and ready to warm up.
We got him. We got him last time he pitched, I believe.
Tigers tagged former Tiger Bruce Rondon last night in the comeback win. Out of play. Rondon, a late addition to the Chicago lineup as the designated hitter. It was originally Matt Davidson.
Joaquin Soria.
If he comes in, he'll face the top 3 hitters in the Tigers lineup.
I got to believe they would do that because they have a
5-run lead.
5-run lead. I was surprised to see Jones in there, but he hadn't pitched since the 22nd, so probably want to get him an inning in.
Doesn't ruin him for tomorrow, is what you're saying.
No, actually it would help him for tomorrow.
Why is that?
Well, because he's set since the 22nd, and you know, couple days you're not pitching, you haven't been on the mound, you haven't been in the competition. It's important that you kind of reestablish that.
Curveball, skied to left center. Martin covers a lot of ground out there for 1 out.
So I don't have the whole pitching log, but it makes sense to me. You don't want a guy to sit over, 2 days. If they've been pitching a lot, it's fine. But as a pitcher, they come out. You've seen them do their flat grounds all the time. They always do that. Relievers don't throw many bullpens unless they need it, unless they're trying to fix a mechanical change.
How about long tossing? How often will they long toss?
Well, different guys have different programs. I think they do more of that earlier in the year, trying to build arm strength.
Palco skies one to left. Jones circling it and making the grab near the foul line.
Boy, that ball really blew down line there,
Sure
didn't
did,
it?
yeah.
Looked like it was straight away left field and over to the line.
That's challenging. Good play by Jacoby Jones to circle the baseball. If you go right toward it, that might be a little bit more challenging for him.
Well, he's had a little bit of sun out there as well. You can see the shadows from Jacoby. You can see he's looking back into the sun. Just blowing it towards the stands. He stayed with it. It's good to have the wheels. Keep up. You can see it's pretty much straight in his eyes, the sun. You have those towers there. Sometimes you'll line up in that shadow so you can see the ball. If you're an outfielder, if you're in a really clear skied stadium like Oakland or the old Tiger Stadium, you can't see. The ball goes up, you can't see. So you stand in that shadow, and that gives you an original look.
Back up the middle. Iglesias there to help. And the Tigers head to the 9th. They need a big time rally. They're down 5 on Fox Sports Detroit. 1 before the floodgates opened, and the White Sox bowed up a little bit. Trace Thompson moves from left field to right field, where he started last night, and Charlie Tilson, who started last night for Chicago in center, will come in as a defensive replacement in left. And of course, Joakim Soria takes over for Chicago here in the 9th.
Well, we got to Soria back in Chicago. He gave it up. Nico hit a home run off him. See, his 17 games, has an 0-2 record, 4 of 6 for save opportunities. Not walking anybody this year, only 3 walks, 20 strikeouts.
Soria spent parts of 2014 with Detroit and 15. Been with Kansas City, Texas, Pittsburgh, 2 stints with the Royals.
Well, he's had a good career, but he had some struggles when he's with Detroit. And not the dominant guy, does not have the velocity that he used to have.
Jones pokes one to right, but there's one down. Soria actually coming into the season tied for 6th among active pitchers in saves with 204. And 8th in save percentage. Not a save situation here, but
yeah, his roles have changed.
No doubt.
But he can still close. He has 4 saves this year, as I said, 4 for 6.
Castellanos a couple of strikeouts and an 0 for 4 day. Outside.
Reached on an error in the first and scored on the home run from Candyman.
Low and tight. Last night gave you over 24,000 here, closer to 25 tonight, 27,000 in attendance.
Crowd was good.
Yeah, it was.
Early it was good. Tigers got down. A few of them have left. But what a nice weekend for everybody.
Love all the Tigers garb everywhere too.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I tell you, I was driving home last night. There's all kind of fans on the freeways. It's most people leave town, they say, but many of them stayed behind. Have a ballpark frank.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is to talk to a lot of new Tigers about wearing the English D, like Ron Gardenhire talking about the iconic logo. 2-2 now to Castellanos.
What Gardy always says is how he knows it well because we were in the division together.
Yeah,
goes way back.
Stayed alive.
Now you got the shadows all over the infield right now, and the outfield's bright. Could get a little tricky. Both teams have to do it, though. We know that. See that backdrop there, right at the top of your screen. That's the baby that blends in and makes the ball more visible.
Tougher for center and left field because it's coming from shadow to light. In tight, and it's full.
You know, from the outfield standpoint, this park is not too bad as far as being able to see the ball. The toughest ball to see in this park would be where you can see where those 2 shadows are in the outfield. When the lights are on, those are the light areas. You could lose them in the lights.
Check swing.
Beat it out.
Soria covering.
He's safe.
And barely beat it.
I think he was safe.
Soria barely beating Castellanos to the bag for 2 down.
No, maybe I just had a bad look at it, but I thought Soria's foot was in the air. Watch this. And Knicks beat it. Am I wishing? Oh, he got it.
Yep. Not the greatest of throw from Abreu. Good play by Soria.
Tigers down to the last out. Up to Jamer.
Hard to argue with his night, huh? 2 for 4. A couple of bombs. 20 straight games in which he's reached base safely. Leads the league as far as that current streak is concerned. And has taken over the team lead in home runs.
Remember I was talking about Larry Herndon?
Yeah.
He had 4 home runs on Friday and 1 on his to start his at bat on Saturday. That's what it turned out to be.
Really liked Larry Herndon in left field. Of course, the iconic picture of him making that final out in the '84 World Series on the run.
He was very quiet until we got into that fight. Everybody said, wow, he seems so soft-spoken. He meant all business. Stuck up for his teammates, and of course, great part of our team.
Tigers down to their last strike. Detroit 21-9 at home since 2015 against Chicago. So the White Sox, if they can close it out here, will savor this for a little bit.
Going against the trend. Like that 4 o'clock start. What do you think?
I do too.
Gives you some time to get some stuff done at home. Come down for a ball game. You can stay for an extra dinner if you want, or you can go home and get ready for the next day.
Right.
Of course, we'll be here tomorrow for the 1 o'clock game.
Full count to Jamer Candelario.
And hope to be better.
Blaine Hardy against James Shields in the wrap-up of this weekend series tomorrow. Barely got a piece of it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Gonzalez hurt.
Well, I tell you, you got to be tough to get up and try and shake that off.
Tough to play that position, man.
Got him on the leg.
Yeah, just under that right knee, it looked like.
It just clipped him. Umpires always walk out and have a little talk with the pitcher.
Yeah, that mutual respect between home plate umps and catchers. Understanding what the other goes through.
When you're watching those signs there, he starts on the leg and goes to the chest protector. That's, I believe at this point, a decoy. But when guys on base, that's the way they change the signs.
He also touched his mask too. I mean, does it?
Well, it could be something, you know. Could be first sign or second sign, unless you touch the mask. Maybe it goes to strikes +1.
Well, what's the point of that when there's nobody on?
They don't want you to get the sequences.
Gotcha. Golfed foul.
And he may be given the signs by the leg or by the face mask. It could be by touches there. Might be second touch.
Well, he also knows, and every team knows, that all these games are televised. Some people are rolling on them and scouting in that regard, I would guess. Another payoff pitch to Candelario. Ruined it again.
Yeah, look, Candy, I think his previous at bat, when he threw the bat, now it's, look, there's wrist, it appears maybe that's hurting him a little bit. See him shaking it. That left wrist.
That's the injured wrist.
Yep.
Didn't bother him on his 2 home runs earlier in the ball game. Of course, those came from the right side. Another 3-2 offering. And he lost him. Good at bat for Jamer Candelario.
Excellent at bat. Adds to his team lead in walks.
And another point for pick to stick.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Sore winner. No, Mario's been pretty good this year.
Really good pick. I don't know who did it, but it was wise.
Chamber having a little talk right there.
Pete Cosma. There goes Candelario. He wanted a stolen bag too, Gibby.
Yeah, I think that he had such a jump they weren't holding him.
Is that against baseball protocol? You're down 8-3. Abreu's playing behind you.
Well,
should you do that?
I think the way we were taught, if he's up close, you don't run. If he's back, you go.
It could be indifference too. They may not give him the
No,
stolen
it
base.
wouldn't be a stolen base.
Right.
I bet you they wouldn't even cover.
Right.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a cheap point, forget it.
Yeah, I was. Oh, 2.
See, they're not going to vacate their positions there. They're going to play their defense and play the percentages that you're not going to get that many hits to beat them.
Grounder to short. And Anderson boots it.
Oh, no.
Oh, they got Candelario, and he's... Oh, they dropped it at home. Oh, man.
That's the gift. Keep on giving.
It's got to be 2 errors on one play. The Anderson boot and then the Gonzalez drop at the dish.
Well, Anderson usually has a problem with his throwing, but here he just maybe got a little sloppy. And Candy came around and they just got him dead to rights. But the Tigers get a gift, 2 gifts. Score a run, 8-3, 8-4 now.
Remember, Nico Goodrum, as you mentioned earlier, Gibby, took Soria deep in Chicago earlier this year.
Can he do it again? We need runners.
Late.
Only good thing that net was up. That
Yeah,
would
it sure
going in
was.
hot.
That's something baseball definitely got right. Putting that net up. Taking a page from the NHL.
By the way, that run that Candyman doesn't count for pick to stick because it was done on an error. An unearned run does not count.
Is that how it works now?
Does not
I was
count.
unaware of that. They gave both errors to Tim Anderson. And he booted one last night too.
Well, as much as he's homered.
He has as many errors as homers in today's game. Goodrum in an 0-2 hole.
April 5th, White Sox were up. Nico sparked a rally. Tigers came back and won this game.
That's when people in Detroit start saying, who's Nico Goodrum?
Who's this guy?
Right.
Started liking him quick.
Waits on Joakim Soria.
Good story. He's feeling a little bit, isn't he, huh?
I don't know why you would. You're up by 4.
Well, I think maybe you just want to make sure you're doing the right thing. You can't just say, well, I'm up by 4. You got to make sure you're in the, like it's a tie game mode. Nico battling. Ball and 2 strikes. Game's at what, 3 hours and 25 minutes? We want to stick around for another 12, 11 innings.
You got enough stories for me.
Game to remember.
Be happy to.
We'll make them up. Boy, oh boy. Sorry, I was trying to freeze Nico out.
Golf to center, left center. And that'll do it. Tigers' 5-game winning streak in the series against Chicago dating back to last year is over. White Sox double them up. Now we'll send it to the Coliseum studio. And John Keating standing by for Tigers Live postgame. Keats?
All right, Shep, thank you. Lots to unpack when we get you started with Tigers Live. Ron Allen is alongside with me. We'll talk of Tim Anderson's great day at the plate, not so much in the field. We'll get post-game thoughts from Francisco Liriano and from Ron Gardenhire as well. Tigers Live starts moments from now in the Coliseum studio.